Yo guys, what is going on? It is time for begin talking about 3.22. We got the full bulk of the season basically from the keynote of ExileCon, and I really want to jump into this and get straight into all the content and everything we learned. Looking like a tremendous league just from the little bit we saw, and I just want to jump straight into that. So quickly before we do that, I just want to mention my thoughts on PoE 2 quickly because I'm not going to do any more content on it than this. Just that I'm not going to focus any time on a closed beta that comes out in a year. So just not really for me, not what I'm doing here. Instead, we're going to focus all our efforts on 3.22 and Path of Exile 1. That being said, if you find any of this helpful and you want to see some lot more PoE 3.22 content coming in the next couple of weeks, make sure to hit like, subscribe button below. Make sure you see all that. We're doing a ton of build guides, a ton of like beginner guides because I think there's going to be a lot of new players coming through. So make sure to click that subscribe button if you want to see more of that. That being said, let's jump straight into 3.22 and what we've got so far. So as I said, I think this league looks super awesome so far, just from what we saw. I'm going to play the little bit of a trailer we got here. This is on pathofexile.com/ancestor. Make sure to check that out. But the trailer up here, so there's a little bit of gameplay from the league mechanic. It looks like this league is, I would assume, pretty much done at this point. Usually this trailer comes out, a week before the league launches. And so we're getting in about 3 weeks at a time. So that's awesome. But let's just jump into some of the explanations here. So, Path of Exile, Trial of the Ancestors. An entire expansion focused on the Karui, which is interesting, and their 10 tribes. You're going to fight them in a series of tournaments to earn valuable new rewards. Also included in this is 16 new Atlas Keystones, reworks of Guardian and Chieftain, 14 new support gems, and return of past League Forbidden Sanctum. All that's fantastic. It's going to go into more detail down here, so I won't talk too much. We'll jump into it now. So, Journey to the Karui. After the Fallen Chieftain of the Karui, tribe participated in a tournament called the Trial of the Ancestors. I initially saw this, and I saw like the introduction to this, and I'm like, oh, we're getting Ultimatum back. But not quite. It's a little bit different. Afterlife, to compete against these tribes by assembling your own team of Karui warriors, you'll battle their chieftains in the tournament to earn valuable rewards. Pretty vague. It's going to jump into more detail. I just want to take a look at the pictures here. Looks like this is going to be like the new zone. Got a couple of pictures of the new tribes. Looks pretty cool. It's a Karui expansion. I don't know if we've ever had a Karui expansion, but here we are. So enter the tournament. This is where I think we really start talking about the league mechanic in general. So we have enter the tournament. In this league, use tradable silver coins. If you're familiar with Path of Exile, you are very familiar with silver coins. They're from Nizali. No longer in the game. Shocker, he is back for silver coins. Silver coins looks like they're going to work exactly like rogue markers work for the Heist League. Creates a portal to the Halls of the Dead from a town or hideout, used as currency in the Halls of the Dead to participate in the trial. This is almost identical to what rogue markers say for Heist. You click one to travel there, and then you use them to do stuff. And then it looks like you'll do the same here. You'll click it to travel to the new area, and then you will click it to do stuff in the new area. So basically, what the tournament is going to be is some sort of like auto battler. There'll be some more pictures down below, but in each match you select which tribe to compete against based on the reward offered. You can examine their configuration on their battlefield. It's basically where you set up your side of the auto battle. Then you participate with your auto battler minions, be the other team. This section here probably makes more sense about that, but this is where the setup is. We don't get a ton of details on what these guys are going to do, but we know there's like defensive ones. You're trying to attack like their totems on the other side without actually playing this. It's super hard to say. But you'll see here that it kind of says what your guys do. There'll be like little items you upgrade along the way. So that you do 10 matches in a set. There's 10 matches in a tournament you can do. You keep going up and should, in theory, get more difficult. And then finally, we just have like a random picture. So thanks, Path of Exile. So each tribe has their own specialties. Mix match warriors and different tribes build a team that works out for you. I'm sure there'll be a super meta way to do this. And I'm looking forward to playing this. I actually love auto battlers, so this is kind of right up my alley. So next thing we talk about here is some of the rewards that we're going to be getting from this. This is actually a huge change here. Is Adorn Your Soul. So you earn rewards for each match that you win. You don't have to win the whole tournament. You just have to win each match. You'll get some rewards. It's kind of like Ultimatum in that way, and even Sanctum, where you like get to the end of a match and you get a reward. I'm assuming there's going to be a big reward at the end of the tournament if you win. Along those lines. The big currency or big item they're talking about right now is called tattoos. These affect your passive skill tree. You'll see here that some of these are pretty simple. It replaces a small strength passive skill tree and grant 8 fire resistance. Replace strength for a trigger level 20 summon spirit. So that's like really good. These ones have limits. So this one has like a 1 limit. Like regular, like this one, where you replace strength nodes with fire resistance, there is no limit apparently. Dexterity and move speed, int into added damage, grant 1% increased reservation, which is, this will be really expensive and really good probably. Replace a plus 30 int notable passive skill to grant plus 1 level of all int skill gems. They didn't mention this in the video actually. It's super interesting because those nodes are usually not very good. You don't want to go for them, and so they're usually like you usually pass through them. They're just kind of off to the side. So this is actually really nice. Plus 1 level all int skill gems. These are going to be, I would assume, extremely expensive if you're playing Trade League. So those are the tattoos. I think they're going to be really interesting. I think what's going to be really going to happen though is we're going to notice like how important these travel nodes are for rounding out our characters. That being said, if you go for a character that's doesn't really need the stuff, like say you're playing like a pure ranger that's using all dex, you can get the little bit of strength that you need, and you're going to have a way more dex than you need, and you can just get move speed. I think it's going to be pretty nice. I think there's going to be good applications for this, but I think one of the things we're going to notice right away is that this is going to be hard for new players to like balance out their attributes from. So I'm a little worried about that, but I think it's going to be overall like a big power creep, hopefully, for experienced players. Other things we have are omens. So each player can only consume 1 omen in each combat area. These are kind of interesting because they kind of do just like random things, but some of them are really good. So something like on death cast a portal. Not super interested. Upon reaching 20% of life, the omen is consumed in flask or recover all charges, so that's good. Leveling up, things that happen on level up, I don't like in Path of Exile. This like doesn't matter. Use an orbit. This one's like super interesting. Use an orbit chance on an item; it will become unique if possible, and the omen will be consumed. So there's a lot of items in the game right now that have that the base type only has 1 unique. You can super target farm with this, and it's going to be very expensive. The last piece of currency that will come from this new area is called Hinakora's, I hope I'm saying the name, Hinakora's lock, piece of her hair. This allows for an item to foresee what the next currency item used on it, modifying. Sure. So try to explain what this does is if you're a crafter and you could predictably know what's going to happen, you would know if it's worth like putting an exalted orb on something, or if it's worth putting a chaos. Like I guess you never use it for chaos, but if you did like a hunter's exalted orb, for example, you know exactly what would happen. And this is huge because you can save your currency. My guess is this will end up being extremely rare and probably very expensive to come to that. But the real problem with this is if you're crafting something, this is my opinion, I could be wrong, I'm not a like huge like giga endgame crafter. If you're crafting something and you know what the thing you're going to do next is going to happen, it's probably not going to stop you from doing it. Like, it'll stop you, I guess, but like, what are you going to do? You're going to do something else? I don't know if you can like divine orb something then, and then it changes what's going to happen next. If it just changes the ordering, if the ordering changes. So maybe like you can put like 1% quality on an item, and that will change what the next piece of currency will do to it. We'll see. How this interacts and how this works on like items is going to be very, very interesting. And it'll require like a ton of testing, but they've pretty much decided, I think I said in the intro video, this is going to be extremely rare currency. So I don't know how much big of a sample size we're going to get on this. Alright, next we're going to talk about the unique item. Basically, each tribe, there's 10 tribes in the new area, will have its own unique item. The first 3 that we saw are pretty bad. So this one randomly gives you an upside and a downside for a belt. Belts are already an extremely competitive spot. I don't think we'll be using this. This just seems like a very mid, like, flask. Amulet. And then a plate that gives you a ton of life, but you can't put life anywhere else on your items. So this could be interesting. In theory, that opens up a prefix on all of your other items, but I've also, like, prefixes aren't that good, so we'll see if that's worth. Next big piece. Back to the Forbidden Sanctum. This is like huge. I love Forbidden Sanctum. It was incredibly rewarding. It was like one of the best things about Forbidden Sanctum as well. You just like for Trade League, you just got tons of raw currency. This was probably the easiest way to ever get divines in the game was through Forbidden Sanctum. They said they balanced it, so we'll see if that remains true. The big thing is that now what will drop are Forbidden Tomes. These will give you basically the entire floor of a Forbidden Sanctum. It used to get like one room at a time. This will give you an entire floor. And I think if I heard it correctly, at the end of the floor, when you kill the boss at the end of the floor, it'll drop the next floor. So basically one Forbidden Tomb, you can do an entire Sanctum. Next cool thing is, so these are sellable. Next cool thing is you can sell your Sanctum partway through. So it'll sell at how much resolve you have, how much inspiration, all the buffs and debuffs you have. You can sell from there, and all the reward rooms will be known. So that's super interesting. And then we also get the return of relics. We did not get the return of, I think they're called relics, also for your character slot. That will not be returning. These are just relics for Sanctum in particular. All right, customize your endgames. We got 16 new keystone passes. We're going to talk about the ones that they have highlighted here. Only a few of them got released. So the first one is Extreme Archaeology. Basically, you have one big piece of TNT for Expedition, and it blows it up, and then every single monster that hits at the same time gets all the remnants applied to it. This is going to be extremely dangerous for new players, but I think it could be really good. It's going to really speed up Expedition process if you're like hard Expedition farming. The real big problem, though, is that just from the quick video we got of this, it looked like this is smaller area-wise than if you placed like 5 or 6 of them. And the other problem is that you can't just like, if I want to start at one and it has a bunch of bad ones around it, with a smaller circle I can target the like chance to drop logbook one and then move away from the other ones. This seems like you're just going to get all the remnants in one area, so it could be like really dangerous situations. Next we have Lucid Dreams. Valside areas and maps are no longer corrupted. Currency items can be used on non-corrupted Valside areas, which I don't particularly know if that helps anybody, but that's a thing now. Less destructive play. The Maven summons 1 to 3 additional bosses when witnessing map bosses. Modifiers to the final map boss each map also apply to some bosses. This was desperately needed for Maven. Maven was so much worse than running Exarch and Eater Worlds that people just basically weren't doing it. This lets you get through Maven, get your Maven picks done faster. You can fight the actual in the Maven's area quicker, so that's huge. Your support gems, give me 16 of them. I don't want to talk about all of them. I think there's a few that are going to be good, a few that are going to be bad. The 2 they have listed here. Returning projectiles. Just seeing this makes me think that Cascade is coming out of the game. The one that every bow player was using, where it shoots your arrows forward and fires back at you. Like, just adding the support makes me think that's like getting taken out. That was really busted in 3.21. And Frigid Bond is some sort of link skill that makes your links do cold dot damage. So if you play with a friend. There you go. The Guardian rework. So pretty excited about Guardian rework. I thought Guardian was pretty bad. It was like significantly worse than Necromancer for minion builds. Unfortunately, everything's out. Fortunately, we have no idea if any of it's good until we get some actual numbers. I'll talk about the stuff for minions, because that's probably the most important thing I think when I think of Guardians. Radiant Crusade grants level 20 Summon Sentinel of Radiant skill. We'll have to see if it's good. Looks like it can be some sort of tanky character, though. 10% damage from hits is taken from your Sentinel of Radiant's life before you. So we'll have to see what that is. And then Unwavering Crusade, 25% trigger level 20 Summon Elemental Relic when you or a nearby ally killing me. This will be like up a lot, right? 25% chance when you or an enemy. So if you're a minion build, this is just always up, basically. Again, without knowing what either of these skills are, we have no idea if these are any good or not. So, not much to say around here. Tiny Need gun, much needed increase in quality. Pretty much everything got an increase in quality. Others of kind remain most the same. Other big one for me was Bastion of Hope. If you attack, this used to be just like randomly it would turn your block chance up and down every like 4 seconds, so it was really, really weird. Now it can predictably do chance to block attack and chance to block spell damage. So, good quality life for Guardian. We'll see how good it is based on what these skills here actually do. Chieftain's getting like a full rework. I read through these quickly, and I didn't really see a reason to play Chieftain still. So I could be wrong, but some Chieftain enjoyer can tell me. The one that seemed interesting is this new node here. Enemies you kill have a 5% chance to explode, dealing 5% of their max life as fire damage. That seems really fun, but the rest of this seems pretty not great. This one, like, Anytime you put while you are stationary in, I'm just not playing it. Seems to be some sort of like slam skill or strike skill stuff here. My favorite chieftain builds were not like slam and strike skills, so this is just not for me. It kind of kept the totem stuff, made totem stuff a little bit better, but this is like not for me. And it's like some weird resistance stuff up here for fire resistance, converting to cold and lightning. Just seems like it could be a really tanky character, but I don't think it's going to be a very good character. We'll see. I'm probably missing some really good build interaction. Someone in the comment below can tell me about it. Basically, that is it. That is everything we know about 3.22. I tried to wrap this up in as quickly as possible. I saved like 30 minutes by not watching the entire video and just going through this page instead, so I hope that helps. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think about 3.22. I'm super excited already. I'm getting ready. I'm already thinking about league starters. Gonna start putting build guides together for my league start build, which I'll leave a surprise, but I think it's gonna be something that's tried and true because I feel like the league mechanics you can add it and bring back a Sanctum is super good for a particular set of builds. Ones where you basically can just like walk away and do other stuff while stuff is dying. It seems like the way to go for those two types of leagues. So that's what I'll be looking to do, and I'll wrap it up there. Remember to click like, subscribe for more 3.22 content coming up in the next couple weeks, and I'll catch you next time. Bye.